Hey guys, what's up, how's it going? Welcome back for another video. In today's video, we're going to be diving deep inside my stock portfolio. I'll show you guys what stocks I hold, I'll give you guys an update on my holdings in my portfolios, and I'll give you guys an update on the dividends, and I'll give you guys some tips and some tricks, and show you guys some stocks that you guys can look at if you are beginners and you're just getting started with investing. So like usual, if you guys enjoyed the video, please do me a big favor, give it a big thumbs up, and if you guys want to see more content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll start the video off with the portfolio updates. Let's see how our stocks are doing on Wealth Simple Trade. So the first thing I'm going to cover is going to be the portfolio update on our channel. I like to go over my stock portfolios and give you guys a quick little rundown of what's been going on over the past little while in the markets. So the first account we'll talk about really quickly is going to be the TFSA. This is my biggest account by far, and as you guys know, my main priority is just to max this out. So this is just my accounts, this is just my TFSA. It doesn't take into consideration my fiance stuff. What I usually do is kind of keep it on the side, and every now and then I'll give you guys an update on that. So this is just my own accounts here, but over the past day we're up $444, which is about 0%, so not too much going on inside the portfolio for the past day. The 1 week return is up 1%, so we did see a little bit of a gain in the market. And if you guys don't know, if you're not regular viewers of this channel, the TFSA is really growth focused. There's a lot of growth stocks, but it is a bit of a mix of everything. We got growth, we got dividends, and we do have passive income in there, but it is predominantly very much growth focused. 1 month return for the TFSA is 5%, and I should also mention a lot of the focus for the TFSA is in US growth stocks, so a lot of VFB in there. And I will talk about all the stocks I have later on in the video. I'll give you guys a quick little bird's eye view. I'll give you guys some tickers, and I'll kind of like share with you guys the different types of stocks I have. So that's 5% gain in the past month. It's about $4,000, so not too bad over the past month. And again, a lot of this coming over the beginning of the year. The past 3 months we have a 3% gain. It's about $3,000. And 1 year return we're actually finally in the positive for the 1 year return inside the TFSA. It's been a while because, as you guys probably know already, 2022 was a bit of a flat year with a little bit of negative depending on what stocks you had. Cool thing we had is a lot of our Canadian stocks helped balance things out a little bit, but overall we did see a bit of a dip, and you can really see, like in the beginning of January of 2023, how the markets did recover. We did see a lot of recovery inside our portfolio, and things can continue to be going pretty well. So far so good for the year. I know a lot of people are talking about 2023 potentially being a bad year, but you know, it's just noise. We don't really know what's going to happen, but so far so good. And the all-time return for the TFSA is up 13%. So once again, just consistently doing it, putting those dividends, reinvesting is the key here. And we did start this portfolio back in the beginning of 2020 was when I really took this portfolio serious to start putting money in. So, you know, 3 years here, guys, of just working my butt up, putting the money in, and this is just the TFSA. So before we go any further in today's video, I just want to do a quick little shout out to today's video sponsor, Passive. So if you guys don't know, Passive is a tool that I've been using to manage my multiple portfolios. As you guys see my investments and my portfolios grow on my channel, I've been looking for different options to managing all my portfolios all in one place, and Passive lets me do that. In fact, I've noticed that as my investments have grown and as I get more accounts, it actually makes a lot more sense to put all your investments in one place, and actually using a tool like Passive makes things a heck of a lot easier. So here's a quick little introduction to my dashboard on Passive, and this is basically allows me to get a bird's eye view of all my accounts in one place, and this is a cool feature. It's very easy to set up and connect your accounts, and you can see my TFSA, my personal account, and then we can see everything all basically add up together, all my total holdings here, and you can get a nice good bird's eye view of all of your accounts. So one of my favorite features of Passive is the model portfolio feature. So if you go inside my account that I made here, my personal account of Wealth Simple Trade, we can actually set out a model portfolio where we can see my targets and my actual percentages of the stocks that I hold. And then whenever I put deposits in, whenever I get a dividend from my stocks, Passive will basically ping me with an email, and it'll recommend trades I buy to basically fill the targets that I have for my allocations. Now, if you guys are a Wealth Simple user, you'll get trade recommendations and you'll have to manually do the orders yourself. But if you guys are a Quest Trade user, Passive will basically bring you a button. They'll give you the recommendations. You click the button and you get one-click trade. So that's super cool. So if you guys are a Quest Trade user, there's definitely a little bit of extra perks for that. And the biggest benefit I think most people are going to get from using a tool like Passive, and this is myself included, is the fact that you get to free up so much time. You don't have to worry too much about, you know, what stocks you're going to buy. You don't have to update your spreadsheets. You don't have to do all those different things. You can just sign into your account. You can click a button, and that's pretty much it. And you guys can get on with doing whatever it is you guys want to do with your day. So when it comes to plans for Passive, there are 2 plans available. There's a free account that you guys can use that is super easy to set up, no credit card required, gives you most of the features of Passive. And then there is an elite membership plan for $99 a year and $0 for Quest Trade clients. So if you guys are a Quest Trade client, then this is really a no-brainer because you can get Passive to basically rebalance your portfolio and do all those cool features we talked about completely for free. The main features you are getting with the premium version is one-click trades, advanced currency handling, and you'll get features that allow you to prioritize your assets to create tax-sheltered portfolios. If you guys want to sign up for Passive, there's a link in the description of today's video. So if you're hopping over to the non-registered account, which used to be the personal account, Wealthsimple did change the name to non-registered, so I guess they wanted to be a little bit more technical. But the non-registered account is our Canadian dividend stocks predominantly, and it's sitting in here. I might swap this over to my fiance's TFSA. I'm just kind of figuring out what to do, but it's about $14,000 here, and it's about up 8% all time, which is actually done quite well, and that's because Canadian stocks I've actually had a good past year or so. So once again, this is a lot of dividend stocks, a lot of eligible dividends. It's very tax efficient, so I'm not too worried about it, but probably in the future we will be moving this into my fiance's TFSA since we do have a lot of room in there. So the first stocks we're going to talk about in today's video is going to be stocks focused on growth. Now I have a huge chunk and a huge section of my portfolio on growth. So let's jump aside the Wealthsimple trade portfolio and let's kind of discover some more of the stocks that I hold that are growth based and take a peek at them. So the first types of stocks I like to hold inside my portfolio are really the growth stocks. And as you guys can see here, my biggest growth based ETF is VFE. This is the Vanguard S&P 500. I'm a big fan of this because I do believe growth is important inside a portfolio. I'm still young and I want to take advantage of getting that growth. So the 5-year growth rate of just stock appreciation from a fund like VFE is 62.77%. So that's pretty consistent growth. I want to kind of take advantage of that. And you know, the US market is one of the biggest economies in the world. So that's why it's my #1 biggest holding inside my portfolio. When it comes to my own portfolio of Wealthsimple Trade, I do have quite a few dividend growth and just growth stocks in general that are Canadian based. So we'll go over these really quickly here. So we already talked about VFE and how this is one of my biggest holdings. We have some dividend stocks that also have a little bit of growth, but we'll talk about dividend stocks a little bit later. But when it comes to pure growth, the biggest holdings I have are stocks like CNR. You know, this is stock growth here, showing here the pure stock growth as well as some pretty aggressive dividend growth. Even ATD has been my best performing growth stock. It's done pretty well. So I do believe in growth. I hold most of my growth in the US market, but I do have a few Canadian growth based companies as well. And before we go any further and talk about dividend stocks, I want to talk about how it is important for dividends even for growth stocks. So here on the graph here, I have pulled up VFE overall returns as well as dividends and total returns all included. So the blue line at the top here is going to be the total returns of VFE with dividends reinvested. So if you took your dividends and reinvest them, even for growth stocks, it can be substantial to increasing your return. The green line, which is 32.14%, is showing the stock growth of VFE over the short period of time since 2020. But if we add in the dividends reinvested, we can see that 32% changes to 38%. So even with growth stocks, reinvesting your dividends definitely is a huge big deal. And the second type of stocks that I typically hold inside my portfolio are dividend focused. And these stocks are kind of a combination of both dividends as well as growth stocks. So these are more traditional stocks that you'll kind of see people refer them as blue chip companies, you know, like the banks and stuff like that. So let's go back inside the portfolio. We'll take a peek at some of the dividend stocks and I'll show you guys some of the beginner ones that you guys can get started with. Now, when it comes to the dividend stocks inside my portfolio, we do have some traditional dividend stocks. It's a fairly conservative portfolio, but I do have a mixture of different things here. So we have some individual stocks, we have some ETFs. We'll cover the ETFs first inside my TFSA. So the big two dividend ETFs that I have are VFE here. This is the VDY, which is the Vanguard FTSE Canadian High Dividend Yield Index ETF. This is one of my big ETFs, probably my biggest holding. And then we have XEI, which is the iShares High Dividend Income Index ETF. So when it comes to traditional dividend stocks that are going to have a little bit of stock growth as well as some yield, those are the two ETFs. But in terms of individual stocks that you guys can look at, or the ones that at least I hold, are classics such as TD, TELUS, we have Fortis, AQN, and if we go inside my personal account, we can actually see that I have even more dividend payers here. So we have ones like C&Q, Canadian Tire Corp. So, you know, these are pretty basic dividend stocks that everybody can get started with. Manulife, Power Corporation of Canada. And once again, these are focused on yields as well as growing those yields over time and getting some stock appreciation. If we take a peek at the dividend history, we can get an idea of how much these stocks are raising their dividends. So again, if we look at a stock like TD, which is a pretty consistent and pretty basic solid bank, we can see that every single year we're getting like double-digit dividend increases. So every single year, as long as you hold the stock, you're going to be getting like a 9% growth on your yield, 11%, 10%, 12%, 8%. You know, so we're always constantly growing your money, and this is something you definitely want to look for, and something that I focus on inside my portfolio when it comes to dividend stocks. And the last type of stocks that I hold inside my portfolio are the big old passive income funds. Now these are relatively new types of stocks, but this is also a combination of some high dividend stocks as well. But typically these funds or these ETFs are going to be focused on giving more yield. And I like to hold a small percentage of my portfolio in yield so that I can take advantage of some of the distribution. I can use it to buy things, I can use it for expenses, or if I don't use it, if I don't need the income right now, I can put them back inside my portfolio and buy more stocks and get that sweet compounding interest working. And of course, the last type of fund for me would be the passive income funds. These can come in the form of high dividend yield stocks, different funds, covered call ETFs, split share corps. But there's a bunch of different options out there for you guys to take a peek at. And keep in mind, you can also combine other things together. So the ones that I focus on right now are the covered call ETFs. In the future, I might focus on a split share corp or some other funds. But the two big funds that I'm currently adding and I'm looking to diversify in the future is HDIV and HYLD. These are the Hamilton covered call ETFs. And the whole purpose of these funds is to give passive income. And they typically have pretty high yields. And these funds are designed to kind of move a little bit with the market. So you're going to get a lot of like ups and downs with the market. But the whole point is to get that passive income now, right? Now, HYLD, one of the funds, did make a bit of a dividend cut, and with these ETFs, the dividends typically with a covered call ETF, they are variable, but Hamilton was trying to get them consistent. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the dividend cut in today's video, but long story short, it's a small cut. The fund's still giving out a very, very high yield, and I'm not too worried about it, right? It's still getting about 11% yield, give or take. I'm perfectly fine with that. That's the main feature of these funds, right? Those higher yields, and you're getting them on a consistent basis. The other one that I hold is HDIV, that's HDIV. So this is another fund that's kind of sitting around that 10% yield. That's kind of what they're looking for, and you're getting these on a monthly basis. And this is something I'm kind of exploring right now, and I'm going to be growing inside my account and looking at other funds as well, because I think in a well-diversified account like my own that has a lot of different factors, a lot of different stocks, and grows in many different ways, I think these funds can have a pretty cool role. And again, I'm really using them to have the passive income today, and to use the passive income to reinvest in different stocks if I'm not using it on a monthly basis. Now, one thing I do like to show you guys on my weekly updates is my dividend income, because everybody likes to see the dividends. It feels good to have them in your account and to see them growing. And it's important to get a picture of how the small little dividend payments and the big ones kind of add up overall. So April has been a pretty good month so far. We hit a dividend high, and I'll show you guys the dividends here, the individual payments. So we got lots of stocks here. We can see we have dividends from our TFSA, our non-registered account, and these dividends here also don't include my fiance's portfolio, which is in her TFSA. So a lot of tax-free benefits here. So if you guys do have a TFSA, take advantage of that, because you can get lots of tax-free benefits. So April, lots of dividends here. We got our big ETFs like VFV, and then our individual stocks that we hold in my TFSA and my non-registered account, giving us some dividends. And you know, they just compound, they add up. Lots of dividend payments for the month of April. We have our covered call, our high, more passive yield funds, kind of giving us some good quality dividends here. And really, at the end of the day, they just add up together to give you guys a nice monthly payment. When it comes to the monthly payments inside the portfolio, I have been tracking this since I first started investing. As you guys know, every single month, a lot of people ask me, like, is this a special spreadsheet? It's not a special spreadsheet. I just basically put the month, I add up the dividends myself with a calculator, and I stick them in here. I know there's better ways of doing this, and there are some tools I am going to be using in the future to kind of track the dividends on a better basis. But honestly, you don't need anything special, guys. You just need something simple, and this is how I did it, you know. And also, when I do it myself, when I punch in the numbers, I also get to see how things really work, right? So it kind of works in that way too. But when it comes to April, we have $574 in dividends, which is the highest we've ever reached, and we still have some dividends coming in for the end of the month. So we might even hit 600, which is going to be a record high. So it's $525 in dividends. All those dividends added up inside my portfolio. And then my fiance's portfolio of $49 added some dividends as well. And for total dividends inside our portfolio since we first started investing, this is month number 40. So I guess that's about 3 to 4 years. I guess we're looking at 1 year, month 12th in December, 2 years and 24. I guess 36 would be 3 years. So yeah, we're almost 3.5 years now, guys. And that's $6,347. So obviously in the beginning, it was a little chump change here and there, but you know, it's really starting to add up, getting about $500 or $600 a month. This total dividends number has really been shooting up, and maybe we'll hit 10K by the end of the year. Probably not, but you know, we're getting there. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like the usual, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Take care, have yourself a good one. Hopefully the weather is actually warming up for you guys. We're starting to finally get rid of our snow, even though it's getting towards the end of April. Anyways, guys, take care, have yourself a good one, and I'll see you guys later.